What up, everybody, and welcome to episode number 142 of the Unknown Games Podcast, the show where we talk about video games and our lives here in Japan. I'm Adrian, your host, and joined by my co-host, as always, the Game Duck himself, Alex. What up?
What's up? I'm Alex.
The Game Duck.
That's right.
the one fowl that has outlived all the others.
Is that true?
I don't know. Maybe in your lore, you've actually gone and survived something. You've been through stuff. I mean, you have technically died like 3 times. Two?
I should be a VTuber with like lore. I'd be like a duck person kind of thing, and that's my lore. I'm just like the eternal duck. I'm like the OG duck, the like progenitor, like the original duck.
Yeah, exactly. And if anyone asks you about your like the failure, aka from the NES Duck Hunt, that dude, if anyone asks you about him, you'd be like, I don't know him. I'm the one that never got shot.
Like failed like disciples or whatever. All the ones that got shot are the ones that like they weren't good enough.
Oh man, well, we've got a show for you today, everyone. We are going to be talking about our initial impressions of Stray. Me and Alex have both been playing it, so and we're at like the exact same point, so it's a perfect time to compare. And then we are also going to be talking about some of the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet news that happened last week. I think on Friday there was the Pokemon Presents that kind of gave some more clarity on the games before they come out in November, I believe. And then I think Evo happened. Lots of fighting game news, so we're going to be breaking into that. But first, gotta say thanks everyone for following us on any of the social media that you're following us on, aka if you're listening or watching on YouTube, thanks. If you're not, go ahead and subscribe. If you want to like this video, out of the kindness of your heart, please do that too. And then, of course, if you're listening via iTunes or Google Play Podcasts, any of those services, thanks so much for that. Leave a review, 5 stars or more.
5 stars or more?
My mind was gonna say 5 stars or less,
but then I could just been like 1 star.
They could have been 1 star. I always say 3 to 5 stars. But anyways, you know what to do, everybody. And of course, finally, you know where to follow us. We are both on Twitch. I'm at NinjaTrix, NinjaTrix, and my co-host Alex is at Route24, ROUTE24. Those are the numerals. Don't spell that out because we don't know who that is. Still, that's a trap.
Just like number 2, number 4.
There we go. So without any further ado, let's go ahead, hop into the show. We've got Stray, which we've both been playing. We both started it up, I believe. You started it up Tuesday. I started Wednesday, so literally or Saturday or something. So
how many streams have you done? I've done 2 streams of Stray so far. What about you?
Same here. I've done two streams, about 3.5 hours each.
Yeah, sure. I've done 2-ish, and each. I got lost a little bit in last stream, but whatever.
Bro, I got lost as well. I'm not gonna lie, I've gotten lost. Like in that first area, I did get lost running around the city, but it wasn't anything where I felt like it was like, oh man, I'm lost, I don't know where to go. It was just more like, it's kind of fun just wandering around in the city, it's just being a cat. I mean, being a cat,
Yeah. So let's talk about Stray a little bit then. Compared to like what you initially thought the game was, and then like when you started really playing it, when you got all the mechanics down, because like the first 20 minutes is like basically a tutorial. It's like press left control to meow or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's like press E or to interact with stuff. When you started to get into the actual like story, when you fall off that pipe or whatever, How did the game like deviate from what you were expecting it to be like? We just thought it was gonna be just cat simulator. Did you expect it to have like a story to be moved like from point to point?
I mean, I did know that there was gonna be some sort of narrative, but we talked about this with all the other trailers. We had no clue what the story exactly was. Like we've seen the cat getting chased by some things. We've seen the robots in the city, but like I didn't know that there were other cats, so it was really interesting. And we're not going to spoil anything. This all happens, but we'll try not to spoil anything beyond, I guess, like chapter 2 or whatever, 3. Um, there, it was really interesting to like know that okay, the story of the game is you are a cat. You got separated from your other cat homies, your group of cats, and you essentially are trying to get back to them. That's the story, which is not anywhere in any of the media. And I
Yeah.
was expecting a little bit of that and to kind of figure out what those robots were. I didn't expect as much dialogue from them, but they all have like this, it's nothing long, but they all have personality, which is cool. And I was honestly just expecting to hop into the world and just be in the world because I'm not a cat person. I don't hate cats or anything. I like cats, but I think honestly, if you love cats, if you like cats, if you're a cat owner, this game takes on a completely different feeling than
Yeah.
if you're just someone who likes animals. You're not necessarily attached to cats, and it's not a cat walking simulator, but it is just you're just a cat.
I think it's like impossible to like to hate the cat. It's impossible to be
Oh no,
like
my cat's name is Milo.
okay, I didn't name.
I named my cat Milo. Me and Milo, we go meow. I meow
Okay,
and he meows.
well, I didn't. I don't think it's like possible for anyone playing the game to be like, I sure wish I wasn't a cat right now. I mean, like, cat's good, I guess. I don't know. Like,
It,
the cat is a really good protagonist, I think. And when you think about the actual plot and the story, like the cat as the main character is interesting because okay, it's like spoilers, kind of. I guess there's no humans left, right? This is the far future.
Yep.
So like being a cat like allows the plot, I think, to unravel in a way that lets you as the player to like kind of slowly learn like what happened to humans.
I mean, literally, curiosity. In this case, curiosity doesn't kill the cat, but you're a curious cat, and I mean, it really does lend itself to just exploring, right? Jumping up, finding things. I just felt like it works really naturally, and like you can see in this right here, you're like scratching things. You're
Yeah, I'm like
knocking
trying to find
photos
like
off.
yeah, I'm like trying to figure out this puzzle here, right?
Yeah.
So at this point in the game, like I'm in an apartment and it's like, oh, find the hidden room, and I'm like, all right, there's a hidden room in this apartment. Like, where can I like figure out where this room is? How do I open it? That kind of stuff. So I'm like, just poking around, and then it's like a really easy puzzle. I don't know if you got. I mean, I don't know how good your puzzle solving skills are, but there are puzzles in this game.
There are.
They're not very hard.
They're
I
not.
would be shocked if you got stuck on them.
I would say this
but
one I had to try. It took me maybe like 3 minutes. It wasn't that much. Like there's like honestly, it's very hard to get stuck on these puzzles.
yeah.
I mean we have to keep in mind this is the game's this studio's I think it's B12. This is their first game, and it very much is. Hey, this is my first game. That's why there's not. I mean, for some choices, in terms of like, hey, this game's not voice acted or anything. That's for budget, of course. I assume, but it lends to the world. All these sorts of things lend to the world, which they really built really well. I think that's what I have to give them compliments. The cat is like I feel like it's a cat. Like I feel like I've seen this cat. You know what I mean?
A cat animates extremely well. Yeah, for sure.
Like I want to take care of this cat, so I talk to the cat in like a cat voice. I'm like, are you gonna be okay, buddy?
I didn't go that. I didn't go that far, but that's good.
Um,
But
but yeah, it's very simple. It's literally point A, point B, kind of a fetch quest, go solve a
yeah,
puzzle.
you kind of like always know like what you need to do and where you need to go, and like you get not stuck, but you enter a place where there's meant to be a puzzle. And, oh, I know what to do. I know how to like. I gotta know. Like I have an idea what to do now. But
yeah.
The pacing's fine actually. I mean, I never got to the point in the game where I was like, oh god, I sure wished like I wasn't doing this thing right now. Like I never felt that way. So
I would say like if I had any complaints, it was really something that I didn't pick up on until I started my second day playing, and it was like my inventory. And I don't know if it's because I tried to go back and collect memories from earlier, like you can select the chapter you want to start on. When I then I went and I was like, okay, I just want to see if I can find those memories. And I was like, okay, whatever, I'll restart in terms of starting from where I left off at, right? So I reloaded my save file, and like all my inventory was gone.
Oh, it
Like
like reset your
it
inventory
reset my
when
inventory
you went back in time to that
when I went.
chapter.
Exactly,
Well, not back in
exactly.
time, but you when you loaded the chapter, it cleared you at that,
It
right?
cleared me, yeah. So
Okay.
it was kind of annoying because I would say like if you are someone who wants to collect things in this game, like there's sheet music and stuff,
Just
it
do it on your second playthrough.
yeah, either do it on your second playthrough or just make sure that you when you do it, just make sure you do it before you leave X area. You kind of know like when you're gonna leave
There's
an
like a point.
area.
There's a point of no return. Like the game or an NPC will be like, "Are you sure you want to go?" I'm like, "Okay, this is obviously like
It's
a
yeah,
flag."
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So just make sure you do what you want to do before you do something like that. Just because it was annoying going back to get the sheet music, and
Did you
I
get all the sheet music, by the way?
I'm 100% sure that I got all the sheet music and I got all the
I
items.
missed I missed like the one where you have to trade with energy drink can. I don't know how to get the energy drink
So
cans.
I found the last energy drink can. They're in the vending machines. And
Oh, okay.
you walk up to them and you scratch them. There's only 3 vending machines.
Okay, okay.
There are only 3 or 4.
And they're in the city. Yeah, I
And they're
totally
in the city.
missed.
Yeah. There's
I like missed those entirely. Yeah.
Yeah, there's one that's actually really well hidden. And then on my second like walk around, I was like, oh, this is where it was. I accidentally found it, but it's just like there's a lot of cute things in this game, and I think that's what they kind of leaned on. It's just like um, when you meow at a robot, it'll make a different face, or it might make a face with just like that's a heart emoji or something, or scratching carpets and rugs and
Yeah,
just
I noticed
jumping.
the game does like a really good job of making you do cat things.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
when I like walk past the carpet or whatever and it shows the interact button,
Mm-hmm,
I'm like,
mm-hmm.
oh, I'm gonna, because my gamer instinct is like, oh, I'm gonna interact. Like the game, I can do something here, right?
Yep, yep.
So I start to interact with the carpet, and then all it is like scratching the carpet, and it's like
It,
left mouse click, right mouse click, left mouse click, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm doing it.
I'm
Like I
doing it.
don't, yeah, like, I don't need to scratch the carpet, but obviously I'm going to. Now I'm
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
it.
There's actually no reason to do it, and maybe there's like an achievement or something that's like scratch 100 times or 1,000 times,
Yeah,
whatever. But like inside, I'm just like, part of me is playing as a cat, and then there's another part of me that's playing as like the cat's owner. So like there are some times when the cat will actually do like crazy jumps, like you're like, bro, don't jump like that. That's a little bit too far. Or there's some moments where you're just like, oh man, I hope my cat didn't get hurt, and you kind
you
of
can't.
feel for it,
Can you take fall damage?
There's no fall damage, but just like in Shadow of the Colossus or Ico, like when you jump to a ledge and like Wander doesn't quite make it, like he has that moment of like, oh, don't fall, like you might lose your grip, but he's got it, but it just puts your heart in your mouth, like, oh gosh, like
Yeah, I really like the platforming in this game actually. Like it's really I don't know I
it's
can't
seamless, right?
I can't think of a game right now that makes the. I mean, it reminds me of another game that I played where it has platforming where you can just kind of freely jump from
I
places
would say like Mirror's. It sounds weird, but Mirror's Edge is kind of like that in first person, where you would just run to something, jump,
and you just like jump.
roll, jump,
I
and
for
keep
me,
doing.
it's not Mirror's Edge. I don't know what it is, but I played a similar game where you can basically just go where you want to go. You just see a thing, like, oh, I want to jump to that, and you can just do it because you're a cat and you have incredible jump ability, right?
Yeah, yeah. This cat has incredible jumps. Like sometimes
So
I'm
like
like, why?
yeah, when you're navigating from like building to building, my mind like immediately just like, all right, where are some air conditioners, where's some pipes and ledges and stuff that I can like, jump to. So I'm always looking for like ledges and stuff to get to. You can jump over this fence, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I mean
I actually
that's
really like traversing, yeah. So
yeah. The traversing is good. And the music is great. I love that. Like this
oh
is
yeah,
what I
music
was.
good, it's good music, yeah.
Yeah, like this is what I was hoping. This is essentially what I was coming into the game thinking, and kind of going back to your original question. It didn't deviate from what I thought, which was I'm going to enjoy being in the world and the everything that comes along with that. I might not be as attached to the cat as some other people are, but I'm gonna love being in this world, and that's exactly what's happened for me.
Yeah, it's got a really good vibe, and the whole world itself is presented like in a really cool way. It just like kind of puts you in, because as little like you know nothing. You're the same as this cat. You kind
You're
of
the exact
you
same.
fall you like fall into this world basically. You fall into the slums, and you don't know anything about like who these robots are, where are the humans, what happened to the humans, what are Zerks, where do the Zerks come from. You're like all
Yeah.
you're learning everything as the cat is learning it, and like that's how you get the story in the world. It's just you're just like slowly absorbing
I'm
it.
gonna tell you, like on the gameplay right now, you're looking at one of the vending machines. It's just right there
Oh, yeah, like with the lights
with
on.
the lights on. Yeah, and
Yeah,
the, like
I like never thought to like be like, oh, I better check that vending machine out. Like in my mind, I was just like, oh, it's really good. Like that's just the scene. You know what I mean? Like I was like, oh,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
the
and
city. Yeah, I
it's
never
got
thought to
that
like
kind of
check it.
I don't. It's not cyberpunk. I forgot what this city vibe is actually called. It's the it's another type. You know, like that arcade that got that's no longer open. That was in
Kowloon? You're thinking of Kowloon, yeah?
yeah. It's that type of environment.
That arcade. I
That
know what you're
are
talking about.
yeah. I don't know
Yeah.
what the exact name of it is. It's
Adrian is referring to an arcade in Kanagawa that was open for several years that was famous for having a of Kowloon look like old Kowloon City, right, Hong Kong.
Yeah.
That had like how to explain it? Like literally, it just looked like that. The moment you step in through these doors, it was like grungy and like
Mm-hmm.
these noises are playing from like speakers. It sounded like there was people behind the walls. There were like empty like apartments, quote unquote apartments, where like
Mm-hmm.
people were inside. It was just like a mannequin basically just set up there basically. But it looked like Kowloon. It was called Anata no Warehouse, your warehouse. Just type in
Yes,
warehouse.
that's it.
Yeah, and they stuck to the bit, I guess you could put it one way. If you go into the men's restroom, it looked and smelled like shit. Like like they like committed hardcore to like it looked. I went to the bathroom and I was like, should I be peeing in here? Like this is
Is
this
it is it
safe?
is it
Yeah.
okay? Is this actually
Should I be peeing in
okay?
this? Yeah, and that's like the first floor. The first floor. I mean, we're getting a little off topic, but yeah, this place was called our warehouse. It was like an incredibly cool arcade, amazing vibe.
Yeah.
Um, and then it closed like a couple years ago. So I actually went on the last
The
night that it
last
was
day.
open. It was
Mm-hmm.
crazy, dude. Like a lot of people turned up. A lot of people showed up to the arcade for its final night. And
Yeah.
I have never seen that place so packed. People were taking pictures. People were just there. I was like, wow, a lot of people cared about this arcade. This is awesome.
Yeah, it was a really cool. Honestly, it was a really cool place. Um, but
Yeah,
yeah,
sad that they're gone now. But yeah.
I mean, I guess the other thing,
Anyways, it looked like
the,
Kowloon. The game looked like Kowloon. Yeah, yeah.
the one thing I can say is that surprised me is that you do get like a little bit more. Uh, it's like I said, it is a my first game thing, so don't expect a lot of different mechanics in the game, but the ones that I've encountered so far, with kind of the little light beam and kind of having to run away from the Zerks and things
Mm.
like that was fun, and it's very much appropriate for a cat. And like, I thought, okay, this is cute. I like the way you worked it in, but yeah, it's really the world that's been holding me like just straight up like, what the heck is going on in this world? What are these things?
Yeah, it's a really cool vibe, I guess, right?
Yeah.
It's like one thing that I like keep thinking when I'm playing
Mm-hmm.
is like this game, if it had ray tracing, would look
Would look
so
even
damn good.
it yeah, and they're doing like a really good job of what they're actually working with or whatever they're working on with these textures. Like when you zoom out a little bit, it looks really nice. Like
Yeah, the game looks really good. It's not doesn't have ray tracing, so all the lights and everything is rasterized, so which is
mhm.
basically how you're used to games to looking. Ray tracing is getting bigger in the last like 4 years, but still, it's relatively new. It's also taxing, right? So you need to have the hardware for it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
when I play through some of these environments, I'm just like, this would look so damn good
this game I
with ray
think is
tracing.
around, it's 6 gigs or less.
It's like
It's
super small, yeah.
super small.
There
Um
is a mod on PC mod. I saw it on Nexus mods, I believe, that will allow you to turn on ray tracing, but
oh
it's
wow.
like super buggy. Like it does. The game's not meant to have it. Like
I,
it. Yeah.
so I played post the third patch, and I've only had like a few issues of kind of slowdown or stuttering in some areas. Like it's very minor.
I
Um,
notice I get stutters when the game autosaves.
okay. I think I got mine like sometimes like standing in like a corner, like just like when the
Oh man,
camera zooms in and it's
I
just
had a
like
weird issue where My camera got all super bugged. I see you're playing with a controller. I was using keyboard and mouse.
Yeah, yeah.
I had a weird issue one stream where like the camera speed, which is tied to mouse, got like so messed up. Like it was fast all of a sudden. I was like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" Yeah.
Oh man, it's so I mean like there are a little bit of technical things here and there,
I mean, I'm not
but
gonna fault it. It's fine.
it's very
Perfectly
light.
playable. Yeah.
I played Elden Ring that had slow down for
And
the
like
entire
really bad
game,
stuff.
so like
Yeah.
this is nowhere near that level, and yeah, I gotta say like I know that it's a lot of people's game of the year. I don't think it's gonna be on my list. It's not gonna be that high for me,
Yeah.
but
I
it's
mean, yeah.
definitely
I
an adorable game. Like
It's a good
it's
game. I mean,
adorable.
definitely like it's with I would say probably within top 10 for this year for not like number one, but it's up
Yeah,
there. That's pretty good.
yeah. I mean, like this year's have so it made me think like, oh man, this year's had some great games. And we still there's the stuff like at the beginning. I was going over, we had Pokemon Arceus, but we're gonna have Scarlet and Violet at the end of this year. We had
Hmm.
Horizon. We've had Elden Ring. We've had Neon White. We've had every other 5,000 games that Square is deciding to release. New Tactics Ogre is coming out. Like
Well,
what
like a
the
new old Tactics Ogre,
new
yeah.
old Tactics Ogre? Yeah,
So,
I
but
mean,
did you forget? I bet you forgot this, or you didn't even realize it. But they are also going to do a remaster of Romancing Saga Minstrel Song, which is, by the way, which is a so I can't speak. Romancing Saga Minstrel Song was a remake of the OG Romancing Saga on PS2. So they're going to be doing a remaster of a remake at the end of this year.
this is crazy. And the craziest part, I was trying to think, okay, you know what? Square is really staggering some of these things. They're staggering some
Oh,
of
they're
these
packing this shit in,
No,
dude. It's just like
you know what
boom.
else is Crisis Core Reunion in October or November? Is it the same month as
I
Tactics
think
Ogre? Because Tactics Ogre is November. November
yeah, and
11th
the
or
Romancing
something.
Saga, I believe, is also November.
Who what the
Who's gonna
heck?
play all these games? Like, who's
Who's
gonna
gonna
play
play?
them, right?
And then we
Yeah,
have not on top of that, we've got Elysium, um, Valkyrie or I keep wanting to call it Valkyria.
Valkyrie profile.
Valkyrie Profile. We've got that. We've got Field Chronicles or whatever, and then we've also got there's one more in there too. Harvestella, yeah, Harvestella's in there somewhere.
Harvestella, yeah.
Um, but it's kind of just amazing that they're still doing things. They're still doing things. Profits are good only because of FF14, but um, next
Okay,
year.
so there's no date for Romancing Saga Minstrel Song right now, but it just says
Okay.
this winter. So this winter could be anywhere between November and February next year, I think. Uh, but it's soon. And then yeah, you're right. Crisis Core, we're getting like if you're just talking about like oh my god,
That's just Square. That's just
yeah, just
Square.
Square. Like I can't play all these. We talked about this like last episode, or
Yeah,
two episodes
yeah.
ago, but like I can't play all these games. Like
We can't. It's
I'm
literally
gonna play
not
like
possible.
one. It's probably gonna be Pokemon. Like
Yeah, and because they're
yeah,
all
it's gonna be
similar
yeah.
genres. Yeah, Pokemon, and we can probably like yeah, we can probably transition to that because yeah. So I guess so. Number one thing I want to say is definitely if you're watching this and I don't know if we'll have both beaten Stray by the end of this week. It's a potential.
I'll
Um,
probably be done it tomorrow,
okay,
maybe.
okay. There's three more areas that are left in the game. And I don't know how short or long they are. The second area in this game was really short. It was like super short.
Like the sewer part of it.
The what was it like attaching the antenna to the roof?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
technically
you have
like
to
the
like you have
second.
to like find all the. Oh no, that was yeah. That was after you get the journals and you get the transmitter,
Yeah,
and then you're like, put it on that tall ass building, and you're like, okay.
and that was like 15 minutes or less. Like if you depends on how fast you go through it.
Yeah.
The sewer being a little bit longer, which I
What did you think? What do
misremember.
you think of the enemies, by the way? The Zerks. What do you think of them? Are they cute? Are they scary?
They're
Like,
meant to be like cute head crabs.
I do think they're a little cute because they have stubby legs,
They have stubby legs and
and
they
then
have like
they
a big
like
eye.
they're like a little. I mean, okay, there's that part where there's like a fence, a chain link fence, and they just
Uh-huh.
like they try to eat you. They're like, and they like just cling onto the fence in front of you, and you're like, oh man, you're actually terrifying, actually, Jesus.
When they do that, I'm like, what now? What now? You coming at me? Ha 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 ha! I'm a
Yeah.
cat, and I'm cool.
But like, do you think the chase sequences where you're fleeing them, like, are those tense enough for you like not even sweating it? You're just
I
like,
I wouldn't say that. I would say that's the one thing about this game. There so far, I feel very confident in Cat. I feel very confident. Like I don't
have you
feel
died actually?
threatened. I did die.
Yeah,
And
I did
it,
die.
and
I
it
died like
felt
twice
bad
actually. Yeah.
because I died when I was looking. So this is one thing. This is like a streamer thing. I was looking at chat and I didn't
Yeah,
realize there
same,
was
same,
more.
same. Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
realize they were there and they hopped on
yeah.
me. And honestly, if one or two of them get on you, as long as you mash really hard on
You
whatever
can shake
key
them
or button,
off.
you can shake them off.
Yeah.
So it's hard to die in this game. I will say they don't want you to,
I've
at
died
least
like
early on.
twice. It was the one of the chase sequences, I think, slightly before the sewers, right? The big long one actually, when you like when you jump into the shopping cart and you like go downhill, and it's
Oh,
kind of
that was
fun.
cool. That was fun.
Oh yeah, it was like before that. I went to like I like looked at chat momentarily, and then I got grabbed, and then I like didn't mash fast enough, because I had to jump up to another ledge at the same time. So this is a keyboard problem. To shake them off is left alt,
Okay. Okay.
and to jump is spacebar. You can see the problem
Oh,
already. Like the
already.
two keys are like next to each other, right?
Oh, that's awkward.
So yeah, so I was like trying to match them, but also trying to jump. And then just for that one part, I had to like play with two hands on the keyboard where I had my thumb on alt
It's
and
like
my pinky on spacebar. Yeah. So
it is something where they do recommend that you play this game with a
with the
controller.
controller.
At the
Yeah,
very
I saw that
beginning, the
too.
message
Yeah,
said
I
like
saw that too, and I'm like, I'm gonna not do that. But but yeah.
it's but yeah, I will say like I've never felt threatened by them. But at the same time, it's like knowing that yeah, they can KO you if you're not
You don't
aware,
match fast
if
enough,
you don't match
basically. Yeah.
fast enough, basically. So I'm curious. Some people have said like I was like okay, this is this is how I feel about it. Like it's like an 8 right now in my heart. It's like if we had to go on a 10 scale, I'm like this is a solid 8.
And that's a good game. I mean, we need
And
to
that's a
see
great
how the
game.
ending. We need to see how the ending goes. Like, obviously, the ending could be terrible.
People
We
have
don't
said
know
like
yet.
keep going. It gets even better. I'm like okay.
Okay.
This
Well,
game has
it's
it's
good.
a higher
Yeah.
meta. It's overwhelming. So it's
Overwhelming
overwhelmingly
positive on
positive
Steam,
on
which is
Steam.
crazy. Yeah, when you have that many people saying it's a good
That
game. Right.
that is reserved for. It's not reserved, but like you think of Undertale, you think of Omori or any of those kind of like those kind of games. Like that's where those games kind of exist, and those have very special places in a lot of people's hearts.
I forgot you beat Undertale, right? But did you
Yeah.
like beat Undertale? You got all the endings? Like you got all the
I
good
think
end?
I did everything minus the pacifist ending because my first run I only killed one thing,
And then you did genocide,
and
right?
then I did genocide. Yes.
And you fought Sans for like 7 hours or something insane,
I fought
right?
him for like literally 3 streams, I think.
It's so funny.
I was practicing off stream. I went to like the simulator, the bad days simulator, where you can just simulate the fight.
You can do the fight, yeah.
I watched a VTuber like do it and like mimicked that. I'm like I've studied. I haven't studied for a fight in so long.
There was another VTuber who was doing Undertale. Undertale was huge for like last year or 2 years ago, but she was stuck on the Sans fight for like, oh god, I think she was stuck on the Sans fight for like 4 days. And she's a VTuber. She like just streams full time. That's her job basically, right? She was doing that
Right.
for the equivalent of like 25, 30 hours.
Jeez
Something
Louise.
insane, like a
Something
insane
insane.
amount of time on that fight.
It is very interesting, and it's one of those fights like when we talk about like Elden Ring and Melania or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what?
That's easy.
I I already had a bad day. I'm
Dude,
prepared
like,
for this.
I bet you if you are stuck on that fight like on Sans for like 30 hours, I bet you hear Megalovania and you just have like PTSD. It's like, oh god.
No, I just remember my fight. I mean, like I love Sans so much. I just bought my Sans, man. I have.
I mean, the song is really good, right? Megalovania.
It's a good song.
It's a good song, but I can only imagine if you were stuck on that fight for so long, you probably hate that song.
I think at that point, all I was honestly thinking about was like what comes next. It's like so much pattern recognition that I'm like, okay, here's this part, and the music just, the cool thing about that song is that it never gets it for me at least. It never got old.
You like never get tired of
I never
Megalovania?
I never got tired of it.
That's a
I
good
got tired
song.
of Sans talking during the fight.
Oh, like his like, not his laughter, but his like the sound that he makes when the
Yeah, and his
the dude
dialogue,
shows
it's
up.
like, shut up,
Yeah.
man, just keep going, once you hit the halfway
Anyways,
point in that fight. Anyways,
Undertale, yeah.
Undertale,
But
yeah. Yeah, go ahead, check out our streams and watch the VODs if you want to see how we feel at the end of Stray, if we cry or if we laugh or whatever happens at the end of this game. Definitely go ahead and check us out on Twitch at NinjaTrixta and Root24. And yeah, we were talking about Pokemon just a little bit earlier. The Pokemon Presents happened on last Friday with...
Was it Friday?
Was it Friday? Wednesday?
It was Wednesday,
It was
man.
Wednesday. It was Wednesday.
Yeah.
Dropped a new trailer which
Yep.
I gotta say looked. I think a lot of people got jazzed for it. Mainly,
Okay, well, first off, you just want to jump into Scarlet Violet, or do you want to talk about the other Pokemon news that were on the show? Or you not give a shit. You don't give shit about Cafe Mix or whatever.
Okay, so I'm playing Pokemon Unite right now, and
Or
if you want,
Pokemon Masters X. You're just like, I
okay, no
don't
one cares about Pokemon
care.
Masters X. No one actually does care about. I'm sure people do, but there was a lot of news. One, Pokemon Go is having, of course, its Pokemon Day, I think, event that's coming up fairly soon or something like that.
You don't play Pokemon Go, do you?
I don't play Pokemon Go, so
So you don't care.
I don't care. I don't even have it loaded up right here. Pokemon Unite is having its 1 year anniversary, so you can. There's a mode where it's just
It's like all Pikachu.
It's all Pikachu. It's
all
honestly,
Pikachu, yeah.
honestly, it's so freaky. It's just a bunch of Pikachu running around. You're like, oh my, this, geez Louise. But you can there's free skins for logging in. Trinitar is coming next week, and then also Buzzwole came this week or last week. Last week was Buzzwole, and then before that was Glaceon. So those are the 3 Pokemon, and then after this, for next month, we've got 3 more Pokemon. We don't know who they are coming into the battle. So lots of Pokemon being added to Pokemon Unite. If you want to get on that, also the World Championships are coming up in August. That's for all these Pokemon: Pokemon Go, Pokemon Unite, Pokemon.
Yeah, when I saw that
Sword
they're
and
having
Shield.
Pokemon Go as a category, I was like, wow, really?
It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm like,
You haven't played
I
like a
don't
battle
know.
with
I
Pokemon?
don't know competitive Pokemon Go. I do
Oh,
not know it.
but you know how do you know how the battles work or no?
No. I had a friend who does it, but I never looked at them battle. I'm like, what do you do? I know about the raid stuff, um, but I'm just like, what is this?
Yeah, I play Pokemon Go actually still. So the battles in Pokemon Go are 3-on-3,
Okay.
and I don't even know how to explain it without it sounding dumb. Maybe because it is a little dumb.
Right.
So all Pokemon have a minimum of 2 attacks. So one is a fast attack, which is you triggered it by tapping your screen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then you have a charge attack. So as you're doing your fast attacks, you're slowly building meter for your charge attack.
Okay.
And then once you filled out once that meter like is full, you can tap your charge attack button. You do like a kind of like a QTE. It's like swipe the screen like this, and okay, I'll swipe the screen like that, and then your charge attack goes out. Every player so has 2 shields. So if I get my charge attack and I hit the button to do like I do my QTE or whatever it is, my opponent will get notified that a charge attack is coming, and then they'll get asked, "You're gonna get hit with a charge attack. Use your shield, yes or no." And if you say yes, it nullifies that charge attack. You take 0 damage from it. We only have 2 shields per fight, right? So the strategy of Pokemon Go is like, when do you use your shields? And if you can bait your opponent into wasting their shield on a shitty attack, so you can have up to two charge attacks per Pokemon. You kind of have to like train your Pokemon to get the second attack with the candy and shit. But ideally, you want to be able to like bait your opponent into wasting their shields and then hitting them with like an actual like real like charge attack.
Okay.
Yeah, and then like part of the fun, I guess, of Pokemon Go is like, oh, like I actually hate, like I don't like my quick attack. It's not very good. I need to like I need to like get a different, because you have to do a raid, then you get a TM, and then you use your TM on your Pokemon to get
Why
a
does
new.
all this sound the furthest away from like walking and catching Pokemon?
Well, I mean that's what it
It's like,
started out as, but
they're like, we need more. I mean, that's one of the things that I think even I was like when I first started playing Pokemon Go, when I was, because all the rage, and I'm like, let me try it out.
Yeah. So at the time when you started playing, I bet all it was collecting. That was all it was. It was collecting, right?
It was like that
But
first 2 weeks or so I played, and I
Yeah.
was like, I can't stand it.
And I think like after a while, people are like, I got all the Pokemon. What do I do? And I'm like, all right, fine, we'll have battle. Now we'll trading, and now we'll do raids. We'll do gym battles, that kind of stuff. So they kept trying to like, and now it is now what it is. So if you are trying to play competitive Pokemon Go, you are building a team, and in order to build a team, you have to catch a buttload of Pokemon. You have to do raids and stuff. But yeah, there's a random element to it. So let's say like I have a Pokemon and I'm like, oh, I don't like this fast attack. I want a new one. It's too slow. Like it has the wind up is too slow. I get hit before I can get my meter off, like before I can charge. You need to teach it a new fast attack, but to do that, you have to get a TM, which you can only get from raids. And when you use your TM, it's random. It's not like, what attack do you want? It's just like your Pokemon's gonna learn an attack. yeah. And you're like, okay, sure. And then it could be like worse. It could be a worse attack. And you're like, oh fuck, I have to do another raid. Yeah, so that's Pokemon Go, my friend. And I'm like,
This
so when I saw that, I
no.
was like, oh, competitive Pokemon. I was like, yeah, is that fun? Like,
I
is it
mean,
fun?
honestly, if I had to watch any of this, I would probably just watch normal Pokemon and then the
Yeah,
cards,
I don't
and
like.
then
I'm not.
Unite. Like that's what I would watch.
And
I
Unite.
don't.
I'm not trying. I play Pokemon Go, but I don't think I would choose
I
to.
mean, it's cool that they have all these things available, and that
Yeah.
and it really does speak to what I said last week, and I think what I said on stream. Is that like because we were watching this on stream, the Pokemon Presents, and everyone's like, "Oh man, Trix, you got to play it, man. You gonna play it? You gonna play it?" I'm like,
Play what? Play what? Unite? Pokemon Go?
No, Scarlet and Violet.
Scarlet?
Yeah,
Oh,
Scarlet
Scarlet.
and Violet,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
I'm just like, I have because we talked about this. I don't have a habit of using my Switch, right? And that's one of the main things. But I really enjoy interacting with Pokemon through their different IP, whether it be Unite or even Cafe. I did download Cafe Mix. I
Like,
had it like a few weeks, and it's very chill.
and you're
It's
like,
super
I
cute.
can't play this anymore. Okay.
It's a little bit too cute for me. Like I never thought I'd say this, but it's a little bit too cute and mindless. But it's there, and so that's got an event going on right now, where I think
Yeah,
Mewtwo
it's
is
like a
back.
Mewtwo event, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, which is kind of cool. Um, but like yeah, if you like Pokemon, there are different ways to interact with the IP and to get involved with it, whether it's cards, whether it's walking and meeting new people and playing, or and that's what I find which is so good about this IP. That's what I love about Pokemon. It changes with you, you know. Um,
Right. Yeah, that's true. Well, okay. Well, let's get into
let's get
let's
into
get into
Scarlet.
Scarlet Violet. Let's get into Scarlet Violet now. Let's get into the meat of it. So
So
the new trailer dropped to announce a couple new features, and a little bit of some hints towards gameplay, traversal, that kind of stuff. What did you first think when you saw the trailer, and like what stuck out to you in terms of like, oh, like this is how the game is gonna be, or like whatever.
well, they off the bat, one of the things that we knew is that yeah, this was going to be open world. We didn't know how it was going to be an open world, right? The trailer just says, "Yo, this is a full open world. This is not a
They
hub."
say that.
They
They
say
say
that.
that. We'll see how
Um,
it is. It could be Arceus, which you haven't played, by the way, but it could be like Arceus style.
it seems like from what it seems like it's like they're trying to take a step above Arceus. What I really appreciate is that they added extra things to the story. It's not just the Elite Four story, but
The
you
gym
also
battles,
have
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
yeah, you can go to school and then you also do
I hope it's like a Persona
it's
style. That'd be
Persona.
sick. That'd be
I swear it's
sick.
gonna be you do like little assignments or whatever, but like there's like
And
that
it's
school
like
drama and they have.
you have to like social link. You have friends to talk to.
I bet you that's coming. If it's not in this one, watch the next one. Have a school and do
That'd be
that.
sick. I would
And
love that.
of course, you travel on the legendary Pokemon, which I was like, you just get them like that. You
I
just get
think
them
okay,
like
yeah.
not maybe not the first thing you get, but like when it says like, hey, you have your summer school assignment. Go into the world and go find some Pokemon and
It
write about
really
them.
it really seems like you get your legendary early, right?
Yeah, it has to be early. It has to be
Because it
this early
seems
too.
like this, like in the trailer, it shows you riding your legendary on land, also climbing 90 degrees up a mountain, going on water and stuff. It really seems, and gliding as
Flying,
well.
land, yeah, all of
Yeah,
it.
it really seems like your legendary is going to be your main method of traversal through the
Mm-hmm.
open world
Mm-hmm.
somehow. You didn't play Arceus, but you do know there are like mounts in that game, right?
Right, right. I've seen the
Right, and
mounts.
that's how they gate progress, where like you need to get up this cliff, but you don't have a mount that goes up cliffs just yet, so you can't get
Mm-hmm.
up there. But once you do get that mount, you can do it. I'm wondering if this is going to be the same way, where your Pokemon, your legendary bike, can only go on land at first, and like once you do something in the story,
Oh,
where you get
it
like four,
transforms kind of
and then
like
it's like, oh, now I can go on water.
that would
Oh,
make
now we can,
honestly that
yeah.
makes the most sense. So you can't do it all at once. Um, but yeah, so that I mean that stuff stood out to me. Of course, I think the multiplayer is what stood out to everyone. You have like there's raid type activities now.
Yeah, man, this is going to be the one game that finally makes me pay for Nintendo Online. But
Like yeah, I have up to 4 players. You can do that. You can also just travel out in the world and
like, just chill
have
out with your friends.
chill
Yeah,
out, or I mean, I think we're gonna get to the point where they really are just gonna have to do Pokemon MMO and just give us a better Switch. Just give us. I think that's the one thing that stood out to me more than anything. Again, once again, it's just like, man, can we just get a better Switch? I know it's not coming anytime soon, but man, I hate it when I see these frame drops or just like. I don't even care about the art style as much anymore. I just hate seeing the frame drops on it. It just doesn't, because like you want to play and enjoy a game without any type
Like
of
you
stuttering
think
or
like
something.
this frame hitching like really like is jarring to you? Like it takes you out of your oh fuck,
It
this is
yeah
a
it ta-
game.
yeah it
I'm
takes
playing a
it
game.
takes
Damn.
me out of it, right? That's what it does for me. It takes me out of it, and like
Yeah, I
I don't
noticed
know if
too.
there's
Yeah, I
man
noticed too that I'm like, I don't think it bothers my girlfriend as much, but for me, like when I'm watching her play a video game, 'cause she plays a lot of
yeah
Switch, right? I'm just like, holy shit, frame dropped, and she's like doesn't even like notice. I'm like, did you not notice the stuttering? Just like,
it's like
yeah,
it's I mean like they optimize these games for the most part pretty well, and this is coming from someone who hasn't played them, so I hope they do. Like
you. I
Pokemon
mean,
Unite has horrible menus, like they don't open smoothly, but I know that in Pokemon these probably actually open, like your menus probably open smoothly. um
yeah,
I
actually, I can't think of an issue when I was playing RCS. I looked bad, but I don't think I was ever like, oh shit, why is the frame less? Like, why is it 24 frames per second right now? Like, I never thought
yeah
that.
yeah
It just looks, it just looks really
it
bad.
is
That's
looks
all.
really bad.
That's your trade-off. You're like, oh, you want smooth gameplay, shitty textures. You know what I mean? Like,
I
you got to pick.
Yeah, I mean, but for you, what were the things that stood out? I mean, I think I just listed almost everything in there because for me, as someone who hasn't, doesn't play a lot of Pokemon mainline, all that stuff is like legit. Like, oh wow, minus the weird. What was that? Not Terra maxing. What
Like the terastallizing or whatever it is.
terastallizing, where the Pokemon turn to crystals and sprout stuff from their heads depending on the type. Um, it can be different types, I think. So that's kind of
Yeah.
interesting.
So I mean, okay, so the trailer basically, I feel like kind of showed off three things. Number one, your legendary is going to be with you, presumably for most of your journey, and
Right, right.
is now your method of transportation. Uh, so when I first saw it, I was like, oh, are we gonna like get the legendary early as part of the story? Because usually, like in Pokemon games, the legendary, the box legendary,
Like the
uh,
last part,
sh- is really close to the end
mid to
of the
last, yeah.
game, probably like right before the Elite Four. Um, for most of these games. So the legendary typically somehow ties into the bad team story arc. So Pokemon is usually like, oh, I'm a trainer. I'm gonna get my gym badges. And I want to challenge the Elite Four. That's like the story, kind of,
Right,
right?
right.
But along the way, you're like, you encounter this like bad team, and you're like, oh, what's up with this team? And then like they kind of get like you guys get involved a little bit, and then the main villain is just like, I want to take over the land. I'm gonna harness the energy of this legendary Pokemon, and then like you
And
kind of
then
have
you
your
get
fight,
yeah,
right?
you
And then
save
like
it.
throughout, and then you like get the Pokemon as part of the story, and then it's like bad team problem solved. All right, Elite Four now. That's basically the story of
Yeah, I mean
Pokemon, right?
it's every game ish, ish. I said ish. I said
Pretty
ish. Don't
much.
we ain't
Yeah,
got to go correct it, but it's ish. It's somewhere in there.
it's pretty much it. Yeah, and then for this one, it just seemed like you just get your legendary,
I
and
think
I'm
it's
like, oh.
part of school. I honestly feel like it's part of the school. Like the school licenses out legendary Pokemon.
So I mean, I want to know like how do you get your Pokemon? I want to know like why does this legendary Pokemon presumably with like power just like yeah, let me help out this 10-year-old kid.
We know
I
one of
mean, at
them
the
is
same time, that's
somewhat created.
well. Well, I mean, okay. I mean, Scarlet Violet is the first, I believe, the first game in a while to have a split storyline.
Yeah.
Um, because if you pick Scarlet or you pick Violet, you have a different professor,
Yeah.
and then your legendary Pokemon is different. I think this hasn't happened since Ruby Sapphire, where the villain team is different depending on the version of the game you
Oh,
get.
nice.
So if you pick Ruby, it's Team Magma. And they're like, we want them to be like all land and stuff. And then if you pick Sapphire, it's like, oh, it's Team Aqua. It's like, oh, all oceans. Basically the same thing, but kind of like it's a little different, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Barely. But I think this is the first time in a long time where it's like presumably the story will be like a tiny bit different. So I want to know how that plays out. Like, why do you get a different professor? And
I mean,
then
You still have the school story too. That's a whole different story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also I think there's going to be at least two different like main story plots. Number one is gym badges, because there's still gym battles in this game, they said.
Right. Right.
They said you could challenge them in any order, which is interesting, which is cool.
Usually.
But yeah, so there's still gym battles. And then the second storyline is whatever the hell this treasure hunt is. Like whatever the treasure hunt is like that's presumably another storyline.
I feel like the treasure hunt really might be, because like they do this in Japan, right? For elementary school students, every summer they tell them to go out and do something, like find something in the world and write a report about it, right? I bet this treasure hunt is what this is, and that's where you get your legendary Pokemon to ride around the world. And it's a field trip, not field trip, but that's what I'm thinking it is.
Yeah, it'll have like some significance on the story. I think it'll drive a lot of your progression, like doing the treasure hunt. And then the third thing, I still think there's going to be like a villain team. They just haven't shown up in any trailer yet.
Shown them yet, right? Yeah.
So there's probably another villain team thing where you're like, you'll encounter them and they'll be like, oh, we want to take over the world. Yeah, or like, okay, I stop you. So the question is like, do all three of those plot points progress
separately or together?
Yeah, in tandem, or is it going to be like a quest line in an MMO where you're free to finish one quest line to completion and then do whatever you want afterwards?
The way they made it sound, like honestly, the way that they presented it, it sounded like it's three different things.
Quest lines.
It seems like it's three different quest lines that you don't necessarily have to do A, B, or C.
So you could like do all the gym battles first, and then you're like, all right, then I can do the treasure hunt now.
The school one is the one that I'm just like, I feel like maybe that is the one you have to do, right?
Like maybe. That's gating. Is that going to be your the main progression gate, or is it going to be gym?
It has to be.
Traditionally, it's been the gym badges, because like you played Gen 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, where it's like, oh, I literally cannot leave this town because there's a tree in the way and I have to learn cut to cut it down. And the only way to use cut outside of battle is to get the gym badge. Like that's how they gated your progression up until now, basically, right? But you're saying you think the treasure hunt is going to be that, where it's like, oh, your mount literally cannot swim until you do this thing, and you need to swim to cross like a lake or something.
Yeah, something that has to be it. Because like, if we're going from like this is a school game, then school should be first. Your extracurricular activity would be Pokemon battles, and your homework assignment would be the treasure hunt. So maybe you do have to do all three of them, but maybe not the battles. Maybe the battles are the things you don't have to do. I don't know. It's kind of interesting to see how they're gonna go with it.
Yeah, I'm curious if it's like a tandem thing where it's like, oh, you cannot challenge the fourth gym leader until like you meet this level of progression in this other storyline, right?
I think what I know I saw this somewhere, and don't quote me like on it, but I think that the Elite Four doesn't scale level wise, is what I saw.
Does not scale?
Does not scale level wise is something I saw that came across my Google feed.
Okay. That's obvious. I think that's a rumor though, because no one's played the game yet.
Yeah, no one knows. So that could be just a total rumor. I just remember seeing it and I was like, that seems strange. It's just like you might as well go to the story straightforward first instead of over leveling.
Yeah, no one's played the game yet, so we don't know. We'll see how it is. It would be nice if it scaled. It would be fantastic if it scaled, where if you choose to leave the gym battles until last, like your first gym battle is going to be like level 60 or 70 or something. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
And also like, oh, you can do the gyms in any order, and like if that's true, then that would be also fantastic. Where like, it doesn't matter what order you do the gyms; they'll always be a progressive challenge, as opposed to like, oh shit, I just did an easy gym accidentally. Whoops, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So there's a lot of stuff that was in there. We didn't really get to the
terrestrializing, yeah. That's the new gimmick for this game. So I think in like Gen XY it was Mega Evolutions, and then in Sun Moon it was Z moves, and then in Sword Shield it was Gigantamax. Yeah, and then now it's terrestrializing, which I think is cool. Like it looks cool.
It's definitely I mean, it is something. It's a thing.
So it looks
It's
like it's a buff. I think it buffs your just your overall stats, and also there's a possibility that could change the typing of your Pokemon. So the
yeah,
example they give is like, oh, like your Eevee could be water, your Eevee could be like whatever, or if you pre-order the game, you get Flying Pikachu, which is an flying type. So your Pikachu is
no
a
flying
flying
type.
Pikachu.
Yeah,
Yeah, when you Terastallize, which could be cool for competitive play because you might not know like what
type.
type that Pokemon is going to become when it Terastallizes. So you have to like kind of form your strategy based on the fact that like you think it's a ground type, but it could not be that in a second, and it could like be a counter all of a sudden, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it's one of those things where it has a lot of potential to change up the competitive play, like you mentioned. More, and it looks it's nice. It's nice
It
looking. It's
looks
kind of
cool.
cool. I mean,
Yeah,
honestly,
crystals are cool.
I can't. I would like to just have some of these like crystal figure collection. I'm not a
Oh
crystal
yeah,
figure
that
collector,
when I
but
saw,
like
oh
that's
man, when I
straight
saw
merch. That's
those,
straight merch right there.
yeah. Did you see? I mean, I'm sure you've seen these in Japan, but they're like the 3D puzzles, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Those are cool.
Yeah, they're like 3D puzzles that are made of like kind of clear plastic, and if you
Mm-hmm.
put them on like a light base, they kind of like glow.
Um, yeah.
Uh, there's a Pikachu one, and it kind of reminded me of that.
I'm telling you,
It's like
man.
a
They're gonna have like these as earrings. They're gonna have them as just like little things you set on your desk. Yeah,
crystal figures.
eventually,
Like you think
yeah,
there'll
the
be
crystal
like
figures. Yeah.
expensive versions, like that's like $100 for a
I
crystal
think
Pikachu.
it depends on how they want to market it. I mean, I think they could have like a high line, like something that a line
They
that
could
cost a
do it
lot, and then they
because
have some that just plastic,
yeah,
that look
because they have
nice.
rich Pokemon fans. Because now if you were a kid when Gen 1 came out,
You
you're
got money
like
now.
mid. Yeah, you have
Hopefully,
money now
hopefully you got money
basically.
now.
Well, hopefully, yeah, at least. I don't know if you saw these actually, but there's a couple replica Pokeballs.
Hmm.
So there's like a replica Pokeball, replica Master Ball, replica Heal Ball, whatever, and they're to scale and they come in like a case.
Right, right.
They look sick, and they're also like 200 a pop, but they look awesome.
Yeah, it's
They're just
200.
called like, yeah, they're like replica Pokeballs, and they come in like a little box kind of thing.
That is 200 too much for me.
They
But
look awesome.
but before we kind of close out the show, since we're approaching the hour mark, we'll hit up a little bit of the Evo news. Evo just wrapped up here, well, in California, anyways. And it was awesome, man. I watched a lot of Evo more than it was in person this year. I watched more of it than I thought I was gonna watch. I watched the finals for Soul Calibur 6, also Street Fighter 5, Guilty Gear Strive, and then also there was one other game. I watched the last little bit of Tekken 7, but um, I'm missing a game in there for whatever reason. But it was also
Dragon Ball.
I didn't watch Joe. Dragon Ball ended at like 3 a.m. for like not for us, but in California. Evo ended at 12 a.m. today. Um, I did not watch Dragon Ball, but I heard it was hype. I heard Dragon Ball was like legit stupid hype because they were also running on no energy.
I mean, it's a game that's good for that. It's like an Arc Sys anime fighter. It already has style, right?
Yeah, that's style.
It's Dragon Ball, right? So
Yeah, I mean, big news coming out of Evo. So speaking of Strive has sold 1 million copies.
ooh,
So huge congrats to them.
Bridget.
Yeah, Bridget. She's here.
Is it
Dropping
she or is
today.
it he?
It's he. Sorry, he. Sorry, it's he. It's officially
Yeah.
he. Yeah.
You gotta
Um,
get your pronouns right.
I do, man. Yeah, Bridget. They already got the starter guide up. If anyone wants to watch the starter guide, but yeah, this character, one of the most very popular character is
Really
coming
popular,
to.
yeah, from double Zex or whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah. She's here and, or he. Sorry, darn it.
Yeah,
Uh,
he.
he. So season 2. That's the start of season 2. And yeah, it's nice news. Glad to see that they're doing really well on Arxis front. And then also for Dragon Ball Fighters, they said, "You look, guys." Producer came on the stage and said, we don't have any content planned. There are no more updates
The
happening
game is
for
old as
the
shit
game.
now,
It's
yeah.
5 years old. The last
Yeah.
balance patch that just came out last month or a couple months ago or whatever, like we feel like we've balanced the game the way we want it to be. It's perfect. We're adding rollback netcode. And that was it. Everybody lost everyone was like, oh my goodness, what? You were okay, good. So
Did they add didn't they also announce at Evo that they're like, okay, rollback for P4A Persona 4 Arena? That are like, oh, it's out now. It's like
it's
out
out now.
now.
Yeah, yeah, it's
That's
out
what they
now.
said, right?
It's
Yeah.
out now. So that's really cool. The one stipulation is it is only for PS5, Xbox Series XS, and then PC versions. So they're going to be providing like some sort of way you can upgrade, is what they said, to those versions to where everyone essentially has access to rollback. So that's cool. Oh, Skullgirls, that's what I watched. Sorry. Anyways, so that's cool on that front. After that, what else was happening? Marvel 2 is getting a re-release in terms of like a really expensive arcade cabinet, which they've done in the past.
Wait, sorry, really?
Yeah, Arcade One Up is going to be doing this. They've done those in the past too, but it's going to come with Marvel. I think it's coming with more than just Marvel 2, right?
How much is this cab? Like 10K?
This cab, I think is it 499? Yeah, 499 or 449.
Oh, that's not bad at all. 499?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, sorry, because I was thinking of like a legitimate, like, do you know how much arcade games cost in Japan?
Too much.
Typically, like new arcade games,
It's
like
maybe 1,000 or something. I don't know.
like a million yen on, which is like $10,000.
10,000.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Like if you want a DDR machine, that's like a million yen. So like when you're like, oh, 499, I was like, oh shit, that's affordable.
It's affordable. I'm sitting here like
I spent that much money yesterday on a camera lens, so like I could have had a fucking MVC cab behind
Marvel,
me right now.
You could have had MVC too.
Yeah.
I mean, so it does come with, and this might be the higher, like the other version, but it does come with Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter, X-Men versus Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men Children of the Atom, X-Men Mutant Apocalypse, and Marvel Superheroes in War of the Gym. So that's a lot of stuff.
Sick.
They've like I said, they've done this in the past where they've had other releases, and it's like a full size arcade cabinet for the most part.
It's a full size cab with Wi-Fi and a fucking 17-inch screen TV. There's only one thing about that cab that I hate, and it's it's a personal preference, but I do not like the
color
American arcade sticks.
Okay. Yeah. Not the ball sticks, but like what do you call those?
The bat sticks. And how the buttons are perfectly aligned, like the
I like how they go like a little bit diagonal or whatever.
So the Japanese buttons on a cab are a little more fanned out, I guess.
They're fanned out, yeah.
How do you explain it? Like
I guess like if you spread your fingers, if you spread your hands,
the buttons will be in that same kind of general shape. But the American arcade cabs are just like very right angle. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that bugs me about that. I'm like, oh man, I wish it was Japanese sticks.
You know, the cool thing about these is that if you are good at modding this type of stuff, you can definitely change that stuff.
Put your own sticks in there.
You just put your own sticks in there. If you want to change something else, you can go ahead and do that.
Yeah, you have to lift the whole panel out, and basically swap the top. But yeah, you could do it if you wanted.
So that was really cool. Of course, we've got, I guess while we're on the Capcom, we just keep talking Capcom. Jury and Kimberly were officially shown for Street Fighter 6, which Jury looking crazy as heck and Kimberly looking really awesome. So Kimberly is the I don't know if she's officially the student of Guy, but she is a fan of Guy, and I believe she's kind of taught by him. But yeah, I mean, like this game is coming along really, really well. I mean,
what's the timeline? I mean, nobody gives a shit about the story, but how many years?
3 or 5 years after Third Strike.
Third Strike, right?
Yeah. So pretty much,
like Ken is divorced now.
We don't know what happened to Ken, man. Everyone's just like, Ken looks like a homeless, just sad person.
Yeah, he got divorced, man. You gotta fucking go easy on him.
We don't know where him and his wife and kids are, but they ain't with him. That's all we know.
He doesn't look like he's taking it well.
So people are like really curious about that. In terms of like the core original World Warriors, I think we've only seen Guile, Chun-Li, and then Ryu. And after that, they really kind of taken to this new generation of, Kimberly. We've got Luke from Street Fighter 5. I am blanking out on Homeboy's name, who loves his music.
Yeah, I think the last time we saw this, when they tried to do a really big number of new characters, was Street Fighter 3,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
and then Jury coming in here on essentially like an Akira entrance. Uh, it was like just watching this and during top 8 and whatever it was really cool. They really are understanding that all of these characters have a personality and they're upplaying them even more so than they have ever done in the past. Before, it was more of a physical look of these characters that gave them a lot of personality, but now they're actually inserting that into their dialogue, into everything they do. It's great, honestly. They know what they're
Yeah,
doing.
Jury looks good, damn. Like, I
Look
mean,
at the
she,
freaking just reel back on that, like the animations, and it's
yeah, she looks good. Like her
she's
not fighting style, but her animations look really nice. Yeah.
yeah, the animations in this game are RE Engine, like Resident Evil saved the cup. But look at this freaking finisher. Like, geez Louise, like if you like feet, you're gonna get a lot of feet. And then she just sits on
Yeah.
you, and it's just freaking like
That's the name of this podcast or the episode. If you like feet,
you're gonna
oh
you're gonna like feet.
man.
So like literally this character, they're like without M Bison anymore, now that he's gone or whatever.
Is he
Jury
like
does
dead or is he
uh
like sleeping?
he can come back, but I think the story is that he might be dead or he's gone in some way. He's gone.
Right, cause Shadow Law,
Shadow Lu? I think
Shadow
it's
Lu.
Lu. Shadow Lu?
Anyways, they're like disbanded kind of thing now, right?
Yeah. But I mean, I saw this screenshot and I went on, like, there was this image on Twitter.
Oh yeah, Jury looking at her phone like that.
Yeah. Did you see it? She's talking to. Oh, hold on, let me just in case I get something crazy. She's talking to Ichiban from Yakuza, and it like
Oh what?
it friggin' like it had it was just like what the heck? Someone just
That's
made it up because the way the poses are,
oh
and it
okay.
just it was yeah it was cracking me up.
Oh, that's like was a fucking guest character. So yeah, okay.
Yeah, if they put a Yakuza character in there, that would be
That'd be
something.
sick.
That would be sick and weird, but
That'd be sick.
um, but yeah. Anyway, so that's everything that happened in Street Fighter. There might have been some other stuff. King of Fighters, new Fatal Fury game in
New Fatal
development.
Fury, that's green lit. I was like,
That's
hey, new
green
game.
lit.
That's all. That's not even a trailer. It's just like, hey,
Nope, no
we're
trailer.
thinking. It's basically like, hey, we're gonna start making the game now.
It's green lit. Literally
Yeah.
nothing else right there. And on top of that, speaking of teasers and trailers, um, yeah,
Tekken 8.
Tekken 8 something, Tekken
Hey, you know what
something.
would be you know what else would be a cool
Tekken
game?
something.
Tekken Cross Street Fighter. How's that?
No, that happened. It was called Akira, not Akuma, in Tekken 7. That was it.
Or some? Did they cancel
Yeah,
Tekken?
it's done. It's done.
They
That
Did they officially cancel it?
yeah, that what it is just Akuma in it's Akuma in Tekken 7.
But they like. But
That is
you know how they announced 2 games and only one of
yeah,
them came out, right? Street
yeah.
Fighter Cross Tekken.
Only one of them came out, and it was bad enough that they didn't want to make another one.
Did they cancel? They canceled Tekken Cross Street Fighter.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's officially canceled, but for the most part, like whenever Harada-san talks about it, he just
You just
refers
like.
to Akuma.
Isn't he just like I don't know?
It's there. I mean, I don't even think anyone wants it. That's the thing. Like, I don't think anyone wants it now, even if it were to come out.
I think it's canceled. Yeah.
We all just wanted Street Capcom versus not Capcom versus SNK, but SNK and Capcom.
I want Capcom versus SNK 3. I want CVS 3.
It feels like they're like I will say something about fighting games now is that they're even more so together because of the way that the industry changed with the pandemic. Arcades are no longer a thing, so like no one's trying to hustle for that arcade cabinet money anymore, and they're all just trying to figure out how to get everyone playing together. And rollback was like, hey bro, Arc, y'all doing that rollback? Yeah, we're doing rollback. So SNK was like, yo, Arc, how y'all do that rollback? So and then so that's why Dragon Ball Fighters getting rollback is such a big deal, just in the fact that Bandai Namco maybe and Harada-san still is saying like look,
Tekken has rollback.
Tekken won't have rollback because for 2D games, it's one thing. It's easy to implement. It's a thing to implement. You know, it works a certain way. But for 3D fighters, you know, when it might cost you 3 frames of data or whatever, when you might lose 3 frames, something that's kind of big for Tekken. He seems stubborn on it. Whether he's saying that and they're actually going to do it, or he's just saying that and actually meaning it, I don't know. For Tekken 8, who knows? But yeah, we don't have anything. It just says get ready, Kazuya. He drops, you know, the famous little drop off a cliff thing. So probably Tekken 8.
We probably won't see it for probably a year or something.
Game Awards. I don't know. Jeff Keighley from the Game Awards did do a retweet. That said,
I mean, like we won't see the game for a year, but we
can
see
the game.
Yeah.
I mean, this game might actually just end up coming out in 2025 or something. I don't know. Honestly, it might 2024, whatever. Like this was the equivalent also of the SNK's what was it? Greenlit. It was basically, guys, we're gonna show you something. There's another balance patch coming out, but yeah, this is the trailer. This is it. You know, that famous little scene of dropping Heihachi off the cliff.
That's crazy. How old is Second 7 now at this point?
I don't. Is it 8 years old? How old is that game?
It's old now.
It's old because the arcade release came out before the console release by like 2 years or something.
2015. So 7 years.
Is that the arcade release or the console release?
Arcade is 2015. Yeah.
Okay. So it's like 7. Yeah.
7 years.
7 years. Jeez. Yeah.
Holy shit, that's old.
It's time. Anyways, that's pretty much it on news. I did have Tactics Ogre. We talked about that a little bit. It's coming.
It's another remaster of a remake, I believe, actually.
Yeah, Tactics Ogre Reborn, which is
so it's like which in itself is a remake, right?
Of Tactics Ogre. Let Us Cling Together, the PSP one, I think, right?
That was a remake.
That was a remake. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, hey, do what you got to do. Nomura doesn't understand. Well, no, Nomura said there was an interview and Nomura's like, look, I don't know if Crisis Core Reunion is actually a remake or a remaster because we didn't change anything for the story stuff, which makes it a remaster.
But we made everything look really good.
But we changed the we updated the battle system, right? We updated some of the mechanics, which makes it a remake. And this is why we call it a reunion. It's a meld of the both.
That's the same philosophy behind Nier Replicant, actually. Like, do you know why Nier Replicant, like the official title of Replicant is like version 1 point whatever the hell, it's like a big ass number or whatever.
It's so long, yeah.
Yeah, there was like an interview with Yokotaro, and he was like, well, originally I was gonna call it a remake, but unfortunately around this time there was another game by Square that was remade called FF7, and I was afraid that
I think we kind of talked about this.
And I was afraid that people would compare it to that remake, so I got nervous and I just called it version 1 point whatever instead. It was supposed to be like a remake, but it's like, oh, I can't compete with this other actual remake. So that's probably what happened with Crisis Core. They're like, it's a remake, but it's not FF7 remake.
Their home game. I mean, but honestly, it's not. It's a little bit of. It is a little bit of both, you know. It's a remake and a remaster, so.
Yeah, so Nier Replicant is the same story, but what did they change? They changed, I think, the combat a little bit. Which is, I guess, the same thing with this Crisis Core then. Same story, but mechanics are a little different.
There we go.
Speaking of Nier, you should beat Automata.
One day I'll get some time, bro. One day I'll finish fighting. I'll finish work. One day I'll.
You have to stream it then. It's like you have to commit to it by stream it. Yeah.
I didn't find that
stream Nier. I would hate to stream Nier though because I would be afraid of spoilers.
Yeah, maybe. That is one of those games where whoever's coming into the chat that follows you that's new, oh, you already know what they're there to do. Hey man, why don't you try this? You should go there.
He's like just let me play this game.
Just like,
yeah.
So yeah,
yeah, I see the tweet. That's funny.
Oh man, it's gonna be a good time. Good
Capcom,
time for fighting games.
Capcom should sell Juri's case as merch.
They you know what? They probably will. Honestly, I
It's
bet
not a
if they're smart, and they're smart, they will. I just can't believe the RE engine is doing all this stuff. Like everyone else is
yeah.
like, we have our Unreal Engine 5. Meanwhile, Capcom's like, we have Unreal. Wait, we have Resident
RE, the
Evil
RE engine.
engine.
I think I read a report somewhere that 50% of Capcom's like revenue came from PC sales actually last year. So that's huge.
That's huge. They don't have to pay
That's
any
like
licensing stuff to
that's
Unreal
like
either.
undeniable like power to the PC gaming platform. I think Capcom obviously can't ignore that, right? So
No. I think honestly, I think right now Capcom is sitting on top a little bit within the
in terms of
Japanese
PC gaming,
companies. Just in terms of like overall, just like goodwill and everything. We still ain't heard no NFT words out of their mouths. Maybe we did, and I just didn't hear it.
yeah.
But
Oh
I
my
mean,
god,
I feel like
yeah.
they're on a little bit more of a just good understanding of what their community wants and getting on patches and doing things as quick as possible. Square it seems like, and we'll go off on this, but yeah, I won't say anything much else about this. But yeah, Square is looking to consolidate some more
So they're trying to
studios.
get rid of some more studios.
Yeah. Well, in this case, if I remember what it said, they're not getting rid of them, but allowing other things to manage them.
What the fuck is? No, that sounds like what?
I think I said that right.
No,
Because
that just sounds
now
like they're gonna sell some studios.
because now the studios are talking about are their internal Japanese studios,
So they're saying they're
their
thinking
business
of
creative units.
so they're go. What does this mean? Like they're gonna sell? They're gonna get rid of some of their teams, or like?
I don't know. I don't know. We'll definitely follow up on it next week when we talk about it more. Because yeah, it's definitely there is some more stuff happening. It's after the IDOS stuff and the Crystal Dynamics stuff. Yeah, they're looking to make some more changes. They're not selling them is the thing, just some weird way of managing. So some people are thinking, yeah, maybe they are potentially trying to get nice and sweet to be bought.
By who?
I don't
Sony?
know. Sony, anyone who
What if
wants it.
Microsoft bought Square? I'd lose my shit. I'd
then
be
you can
like,
get
oh my.
then you can get games, Game Pass, Final Fantasy, day one.
I
Don't
guess I
worry
would buy
about
an
it. It's day
Xbox then.
one.
I'd have to buy an
You
Xbox.
don't have to. Remember, PC, day one.
That's true.
Game
Fuck.
Pass. That's all you need.
It's easier to get an Xbox than it is to get a PS5, right? I think like it'd be easier for us to go buy an Xbox than it would be for
It
us to
is,
get a
yeah,
PS5.
it is. I don't even know where the PS5 is. I signed
That's
up for an
so.
Amazon lottery where it just keeps me like
They
automatically.
notifies you, right?
It
Yeah.
notifies me. I still ain't got a notification yet.
Are you signing up for lotteries like monthly, like more than one?
No. I'm not doing that. Honestly, if you really want a PS5 in Japan, you can totally if you just sign up for enough lotteries, you will get it.
My girlfriend's been
There's like
signing for
4 or
like
5 a week.
3 a month, and we
Oh wait,
still
she is
haven't.
really.
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah.
Yeah, because
It's
we
like
can't.
every month, just like, oh, gotta find some more lotteries to join, and like we haven't even like hit one at all yet. So
Wait. Oh, available by invitation still. Never mind. Darn it, Amazon, don't do it to me
because
again.
it looks like it's in stock, but it's
Yeah,
actually not in
because
stock.
normally they don't have the price listed, and when it's like, oh, it's in stock. So when it does get in stock, they list the price, but then they say by invitation.
I'm actually looking at it right now on Amazon as well, and I do get pretty excited when it says sold by
Right?
and shipped by Amazon, and I'm like, here we fucking go, baby. But
It's,
yeah,
I'm over here now looking at my my email going, did I
did
get
I miss
something?
it? Did I
Did
miss?
I
Did I
get
miss some?
something from Amazon? Did they tell me
Yeah.
I got it?
Yeah, this is what it's like. A lot of people in Japan still cannot buy a PS5. You just cannot get one.
Though in the US, my friends are like, hey, you want to get my friend is selling theirs, or my friend works at GameStop or whatever, and it's like, yeah, we got some. You want one? Like that's how people are getting them over there. You
Yeah, it's
just
ridiculous.
walk in,
It's like,
or
hey,
you just
GameStop
walk in and
told me
get
I
it.
can. Yeah, I know. It's like, yeah, GameStop told me I could go buy a PS5 right now, and I'm like, what?
Allocations here, zero, zero
Yeah,
percent.
it's like a fucking Hunger Games here for
Oh
PS5.
man, It is. It really is. But we gotta say thanks to everyone for being here. We appreciate you as always. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter at UGP_cast. Same thing on our socials in terms of Twitch. I'm at NinjaTrix. You can follow my co-host Alex at Root24. And then, yeah, if you're listening, go ahead. For real, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Got new stuff on there. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed you were uploading your Bioshock playthroughs.
Yeah. That's something I'll be doing is starting from Bioshock and then also Stray. I'm going to be cutting them up into 30-minute segments. Twitch, thanks for at least allowing you to make highlights.
To like export and stuff, yeah. We didn't talk about Bioshock. We'll talk about it maybe next week. But yeah, I hope you're enjoying it. You enjoying it? Good?
I'm enjoying it. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. It's got jump scares, believe it or not, right?
I'm horrible in it. But yes, it does have. It has jump scares. It does
jump scares.
And I'm like, oh. There's so
Some
much...
of those splices are terrifying.
They're weird.
Actually terrifying.
I'm still early on. Like I'm still super early on. But I'm just like, I love seeing just how far we've kind of come in games in terms of like environmental storytelling, which a lot of that stuff, like Bioshock is one of those like transformative games for the industry. You know what I mean?
And yeah, you can see because a lot of the notes will be like kind of tell you what went down. I'm telling you, man. So Bioshock 1, there's gonna be an ability that lets you heal with melee damage. You want to get that, and you just beat the shit out of everything you see. You're invincible, man. It's awesome. But yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining. We'll talk to you next time, and have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, wherever you are.
Yeah. All right. See you guys next time.
All right. Peace.
Peace.